Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Same Spear Gaming. My name's Jordan.
And my name's Matt.
And we're back with more PowerWash Simulator Christmas Edition. We're cleaning Santa's workshop, and I have to say, the wood flooring in here is a bold choice.
Yeah.
Because when you've got reindeer and elves going around everywhere, you'd think wood is possibly not the best idea, but hey, you know what? To each their own.
Yeah. You'd think more like some kind of stone or...
Yeah, concrete.
Definitely a hard surface, because that makes it easier to clean overall. But, you know, wood does bad things when it gets wet.
Yeah, that's true. We are power washing it. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Although, I will say, hard floors like tile or concrete don't hold the heat in as well. So that could be one pro to wood floors. Although you could also just have more rugs, too.
Yeah.
So,
although, if you think about it, it is Santa's workshop. I mean, how long ago might it have been built?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe all those other types of flooring weren't really much of a thing. Although, like this workshop floor, this white portion of it here looks like tile.
Oh, yeah. What the heck? That's true.
So it's like just certain parts of it where the floor is wood. It's almost more like where they expect things to get really dirty, like in the main workshop area here, is where they made it easier to clean. Or where they used a surface that is generally assumed to be easier to clean.
And also, I know this kind of... It's just a game, Jordan. But Santa has magic. He doesn't need power washers. But I know, it's just a game.
Well, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Can you believe MatPat's gone? Crazy.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
it's one of those things where it's like, I guess it had to happen eventually.
Yeah.
And he's not like gone, he's just in more of a behind-the-scenes role.
That's true, yeah. I mean,
And I've kept up
kind of-
with the channels. Granted, I'm like a month or two behind, but like he still every once in a while pops in. And...
Oh, okay. I haven't watched Game Theory in a while, but I used to watch Game Theory and Film Theory. I never watched Food Theory, and I guess now they have Fashion Theory, which I have not seen.
Style theory.
Oh, Style Theory. Okay.
Which, same general gist, but like there's more to it than just fashion. There's also like kind of lifestyle stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like,
interesting.
Like one of the episodes they did was basically, do you even need to separately put soap on your legs when you shower?
Oh, interesting. What was the final answer?
See, their conclusion was, not really. But I disagree with their methodology because they didn't.
Oh, okay.
They didn't even seem to bother to get down to the bacterial level of measuring the cleanliness.
Yeah. I see. Yeah.
It was just like, oh hey, all this massive goopy dirt is gone. I guess you don't need to. And I guess also because it wasn't I guess they figured it'd be, unnaturally oily or so. There was some sort of other thing like that they were measuring, but it still wasn't really thorough.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tag him and let him know that you disagree. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, you know what? If they come back at me and, ask me to help out with a future theory, then shoot, I won't argue.
That would be pretty cool.
It'll be major publicity for the channel.
Yeah. Have they done a game theory on this game? I feel like they could. There's some lore in this game.
I think they did. And it had to do with basically how a lot of the stuff in the main game, their theory was that it was actually caused by a volcano eruption.
Oh.
Because if you read through some of the messages, there's a certain character that's apparently a volcanologist. You even see a volcano, like, off in the distance in some of the jobs. And
oh, interesting.
but of course, it went into more depth than that and made it seem a whole lot more, like, devious, if that's the right word.
Yeah. Like somebody caused it or something.
Yeah, or like it's just some big secret of the town that nobody really talks about or wants you to know. But there's just, thinly veiled references to what happened.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, sometimes, like, I do love that channel, but there was I feel like there was a phase where it was like, okay, that's kind of a stretch. I don't know if I agree with that theory. But then some of them is like, what's that?
I was just saying Sans' Ness. That's one of their theories that they've gotten, I guess, or at least got at one point a ton of flack for.
Yeah, actually I do remember that one. But then you have other videos where it's like, oh wow, they're probably right. Like, this one's very old, but the Majora's Mask, Link is dead theory. That one, I think, is pretty dang accurate and surprising. Like, the whole time he's coming to terms with his death, basically. That's the whole game. Yeah, kind of interesting.
I will say, I appreciate how each of their channels kind of, like, have its own flair now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they have slightly different, they have slightly different outros.
Yeah.
Catchphrases. And
now they
each have different hosts, so...
Yeah. I have not seen the new host. I remember liking Film Theory, but I just can't remember any, like, iconic episodes at the moment. I can't remember. I know they've had them, but...
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I usually just have them on in the background while I'm, eating or doing something else.
Okay. Yeah.
For some reason, I want to say at some point they did an episode on The Lion King trying to be all like, Scar was right.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just a victim of circumstance.
Oh,
something to that effect.
Speaking of Lion King, I have a problem with the new, like, prequel to The Lion King. It makes no sense because, like...
Also, why are you going to do a prequel of the live-action one?
Oh, that's a problem in itself. But, like, even if you accept that, okay, do a prequel of the live-action, the fact that they're not making Mufasa and Scar actually brothers, like, for some reason they're going to have Mufasa be, like, adopted, like some kind of outcast lion, and and then like Scar's family took him in, and like all this weird stuff. And it's like they literally say in the original movie and the live action one that they're brothers.
Yeah. Literally, the most traumatizing scene from the whole thing. Mufasa's there on the side of the cliff, all like, "Brother, help me!"
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna claim, "Oh no, it was metaphorical. He's just saying that because they're super close." But no, don't give me that.
Of course,
Royalty,
I mean, adopted siblings basically act like normal siblings after a while anyway. They see each other as that.
But royalty is supposed to be like a bloodline. Like when you're talking about kings and queens and
so then
princes.
It would make no sense if Mufasa became the king, right?
Yeah, and he's like, I was next in line until the little hairball arrived. I think he says that at the beginning.
Oh, I was first in line.
Why was it?
Until the little hairball was born.
Yeah. But why wasn't he first in line to begin with?
I'm sorry, I
don't know.
I am way too able to quote that movie. Especially the animated one.
It's so good. It really is a great movie. So anyway, that's my little rant about it. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. I don't know what Disney's doing.
Yeah.
Even if you want to have a prequel, you could do something else.
Easiest way to get
weird.
fans upset. Retcon something that nobody had a problem with.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very weird. I don't know. Do you think this is more like film discussion, which I like, the type of film discussion I like. How do you think other people will react? Because the live action one made $2 billion or something insane like that. But I don't know. This one, I'm not sure what the reception is going to be. Hard to know.
Sorry, I'm also reading text messages from French Bob.
Oh, that's fine.
Present wrapping machine seized up. Bellowing with soot, it sent coal pellets flying in all directions. So I guess that's how.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay. That kind of makes sense.
But it's saying nobody really knew how to fix it. Or stop it. Anyway. So I guess because somebody was trying to test something out and then either they or somebody else who was working got distracted because of various things going on, then it's like, yeah. Anyway.
Got it.
Whatever.
Got it.
Just vague references to problems going on. Anyway, so you're wondering how I think this new Lion King prequel movie thing is going to be received?
Yeah, like, do you think it'll make a ton of money?
I do not think it'll make anywhere near as much as the previous.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. The live-action Lion King was one of the earlier live-action adaptations that Disney did.
Yeah.
Therefore, the intrigue of wondering how it would look and be handled was still there.
That's true.
That's pretty much gone now.
I see. That's a good point.
It's a prequel that nobody asked for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
I'm
I'm estimating it would make absolutely no more than half as much as the previous live action Lion King.
That's pretty fair. Yeah.
It also wouldn't surprise me if it only made about a quarter as much.
Yeah. Here's a fun fact about the Lion King you might not know. It was actually created by the B team at the time of Disney animators. They had put the A team on Pocahontas because they thought that was going to be huge, but Lion King was even huger.
Which, I mean, Pocahontas wasn't terrible or anything, but
No.
let's face it, Lion King's better.
Yes. 100% agree. What the heck? I can't find the last... Oh, never mind. I got it. Right when I said that. That slide.
I've also heard
Okay,
some people say that it's actually like it took inspiration from something called Kimba the White Lion.
Oh, okay. I watched a giant... Don't ask me why. I watched like a 3-hour video or something debunking that. Because Kimba the White Lion was a series, and it was episodic, and it went for like quite a while. I'm really simplifying the debunking, like it's a huge explanation, but basically what people did is they took bits and pieces from this episodic series out of order, completely out of context, and said, oh, they copied this episode. Oh, they copied this episode. And then they made it sound like they copied everything, but it's like all... For some reason, people wanted to just try to prove that when... After seeing the debunking, I don't think they really did.
It's all just a theory.
Yeah.
A film theory.
And cut.
See, like that there. Perfect demonstration of the slight difference in the channels. Because the way that'll end, they say and cut. Game theory is just thanks for watching. Every food theory episode ends with, depending on if it's focused on a drink or a food item, it'll either end with bon appetit or I think sometimes they'll say bottoms up if it's drink based.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
And
I like that.
style theory always ends with keep looking sharp.
Oh, nice. That's pretty good. Good catchphrase. Man, they've been around a long time, or at least game theory. Like,
Yeah, over 10
Sounds
years
like
for
one of
game
the-
theory now.
wow, that's crazy. Man. Okay, we didn't have a Bible verse this episode, right?
Yeah,
Lost
no, we
track.
have not discussed one this episode yet.
Okay. Yeah, this
Speaking of
messes with
things
your
that have
mind
been
a
around
little
for a while.
You don't know like how much time has passed sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will stop washing for a little bit. And I'll just look at this nice fireplace and I'll get the Bible verse out.
And I'll keep going.
This is a passage I have read before. But I'm kind of going at it a little different angle than I probably did last time. Let's see. I picked kind of the passage, but I didn't pick where I was going to end. Hold on. Okay. There we go. I'll just do 1 and 2. So I talked about in the aquarium episode, my wife was like talking about how they said Jesus was an archangel and all that kind of stuff. And then one thing I said to her was, the letters are extremely important, but what Jesus says is the most important. And she was like, yeah, that's true, but like the Bible is the Word of God, including the letters, because it's kind of written through the Holy Spirit and all that kind of stuff. And this passage was why I said that, like why I said it. I brought this up, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. See, look, this is from a letter, so it's, Jesus' word is more important, blah, blah, blah. And she kind of proved me wrong in a way, and I'll show you how, because they don't really conflict, but this was the one I tried to show her that I didn't exactly agree with, but now I kind of do in a way. You'll see what I mean when I read it. Okay, and this is also topical because we just had the election, and when this comes out, we'll almost have a new president, Mr. Donald Trump.
New, but not totally new.
Yes. And by the way, I'm not implying anything. I'm not trying to make a statement about the current or next administration at all. This is outside of the context of that, but it's just topical still. Anyway, okay, I'll get to the verses. So this is Romans 13, verses 1 and 2. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. Hold on. You know what? I'm actually just going to read 3 and 4 because it's just a little bit more. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. So I initially saw that and I was obviously there are bad and evil dictatorships. Again, I'm not talking about the U.S. Just for anybody. Yeah. I'm talking about North Korea and China, and there's obviously been anti-Christian governments. And so, how can you follow this passage and in an anti-Christian government? How is that even possible? So, my thought was, well, okay, it's not really, I'm going to set this aside because it doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't really hurt. I'm not saying it hurts the credibility of the rest of the Bible if I just set this aside, because I think it would have been better if he's...
Or only follow the authority that, is following God, is the way a lot of people take that.
Right. But, and, I was I told my wife, it would have been better if he made some exceptions, follow the governing authorities unless there's some injustice, blah, blah, blah. But she pointed out that, it doesn't actually say follow what they says. It says do not rebel against the governing authorities because they're a servant of God. And then I say, well, what about Nazi Germany when, should we not take in the Jews if they're killing all of them? And what the passage actually says is, and I guess you just have to be really specific on the wording. It says, do not rebel against. And, I was well, okay, it's taking in Jews, not rebelling. But if you look up the definition of rebelling, it actually means in a militaristic way, specifically, which I was not really aware of either. It's specifically, you have to go against the government actively and intentionally and all this stuff. And so I think now that I've thought about it for a long time, I think it is saying, because also we know that Paul and the disciples did go against the government, and they were in prison a lot, they were in jail a lot.
Yeah.
But they also didn't lead a rebellion, like in a militaristic way against the government. So I think that might actually be what it's talking about. And I even looked up the Portuguese translation that she was reading, and again, it actually uses a different word, which is more of a militaristic rebellion. So I don't know the Greek. I'm not going to claim to understand the original, how it was written, but at least in the translations that I checked, and I checked multiple English ones too, it's pretty specific. So it might have actually been me who was not interpreting it in the right way, and I don't know, she kind of convinced me of that.
So I guess the point being made here is not that we need to go along with and agree with everything that the government says or does, but, you know, God had a hand in putting that government in place, putting those people in power. Thus, like, we should not be actively working to just completely dissolve the government bodies.
Right, because if you're fighting basically a war against the government, you will get people killed. Like, that's how people get killed. You will be engaging in questionable activities, and like Jesus said, live by the sword, die by the sword. So
yeah, and I was about to say, as Christians, we're supposed to be people of peace, you know.
Yeah, there's a big difference between saying no to a law because it's unjust and then accepting the consequences for that, which is what the disciples did and what Paul did, versus, hey, you know, you don't accept Jesus as the Savior, I'm going to fight you and kill you. Like, there's a huge difference between those things.
Yeah.
So, which is what some other religions do, or at least extremists of other religions do. So that's not what we're supposed to do. I kind of misunderstood the passage, because we also use rebel like in a way like, oh, well, teenagers just rebel.
Yeah.
But I guess in a way that also is like an active, intentional act against the parent. So it's still a little bit different. I don't know.
Yeah, usually an attitude of like, hey, you're not my boss anymore.
Yeah. So, yeah, my wife and I have some interesting conversations about this stuff sometimes, and disagreements, which is normal. But hey, I got that, Jesus archangel thing down right away. It took me like 5 minutes to find that one.
But, even people who have believed for a long time don't have everything figured out.
Yeah. Or people who've read the entire Bible and studied it. Like, I've read the whole Bible, and that doesn't mean I understand it all or I'm right about everything. And
I'm on my 4th time reading through the entire Bible, and I still wouldn't say that I understand it all.
Yeah. So yeah, if you meet anybody and they pretend to know everything and understand everything 100% about the Bible, they're just wrong. It's not true. How are we doing on time? Let's see. I think that's actually, we could wrap it up and do one more.
Hopefully that last 10% or so doesn't take forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll have to find out in the next episode if it does.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.